print-on-demand books. Have you read any print-on-demand books, Alison?
I haven't, have you? I expect there are a few in your neck of the woods.
I have. Well, I'm well famed for my love of science fiction and fantasy books, and print-on-demand, which is when you can order a book and they just print one copy and send it to you, is rather popular in the world of science fiction and fantasy, being a futuristic technology.
Is that the reason? It's not because the books aren't very popular.
I'm appalled. I'm flabbergasted that anyone would think such a thing.
Well, I think the whole print-on-demand thing has revolutionised the publishing, really, hasn't it? Because if you've got a title that nobody is going to be taking on and printing 50,000 copies of, which might then sit in a warehouse and end up being remaindered somewhere, you can actually have your book published on demand, and you can, buy one or two copies, which is, I think, a great thing. A lot of poetry is published that way too.
Well, it is very good, especially for authors and non-fiction authors who have very specialised subjects. One thing print-on-demand is used a lot for is local history. Because if there's a little village out in Leicestershire and it would like to talk about its 800-year history, but there's probably only 30 people in the village who are really interested in reading this book, but they're really interested in reading it. So it's very revolutionary that we can just have these books for people now.
And it's not the same as vanity publishing, is it?
Well, not at all, because vanity publishing, it's important to make the distinction, is when someone pays a lot of money to a publisher who then prints a run of books and might do something like putting some of those books into a Waterstones in London. And generally vanity publishing is not very well regarded.
Well, it's not a way to build up your reputation as a writer either.
Very true. If you want to be the next Stephen King.
Has anybody come through and been picked up by a mainstream publisher through print on demand that you know of?
There have been a few successful self-publishers, largely children's publishers, children's writers, who have produced their own children's books. The most famous is probably the author of a wonderful dragon book, which I haven't actually read myself, whose name completely eludes me, but he was only 16 when he actually wrote the book.
Perhaps we could look that up.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look on the internet whilst we're talking about this, the interwebs, in fact.
And are we twittering live today?
Well, we are going to Twitter live once we've got through the news, I think.
I wanted to just say that Muriel Spark's biography is being published. It's been written by academic Martin Stannard, and she didn't want this to be published, and she is actually, she's dead, bless her, but she invited him to write her biography, offering interviews and access to her papers. But she didn't like what he'd written, and so she didn't want him to publish it, but it is actually being published. So if you want to learn about the racy life of Muriel Spark, you can read the old biography.
Is Muriel Spark a favourite of yours?
I wouldn't say she was.
I don't believe I've ever read any Muriel Spark.
Well, maybe our guest has. We can ask him later. Have you heard, though, of Kit Williams, who wrote the children's book Masquerade?
I have heard of Kit Williams briefly.
Briefly. He wrote a book in which it was a treasure hunt to find a mysterious buried golden hair. And actually there was a big hoo-ha about this because there was a big scandal, and somebody